I think we can call this meeting to order this evening. We have all of us here. And so I want to welcome all of you this evening to our city council meeting. And for those of you who are on Zoom, you know that when it comes time for remarks of visitors, that you can raise your hand on Zoom to be called on. And we again ask respectfully that people keep their comments to 3 minutes or less. So we'll start this evening with the roll call.
Yes, Mayor. Mayor Welsh.
Here.
Councilmember Arnold.
Here.
Councilmember Bliss.
Here.
Councilmember Franklin.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Alexander.
Here.
Councilmember Richardson.
Here.
All right, we're going to begin this evening by honoring Laura Arnold, who is technically retiring from council. And because she is quote unquote retiring from council, we want to acknowledge her and honor her. And so I wanted to say a few words about Laura because she has served the city for the past 4 years on council. Laura has been an extremely committed, hardworking, and very conscientious council person. She's come prepared to every discussion. She's come prepared for every meeting. And it was always obvious with Laura that she was asking questions about the topics that we were discussing. Laura always did the work necessary to make her decisions. But one thing I want to cite about Laura is that she was an extremely effective council liaison to the boards and commissions that she served. She didn't insert herself into the work of a board, but she was able to really nicely support those who did work on the board. And a really good example of this is the Sustainability Commission, which with Laura there has really risen to its mission and its work we are now seeing in the community. I even noticed with Dave Buck, they're partnering up with Webster on Wheels, and a number of other good projects that are coming forward. So we wish Laura well in her new job and her new responsibility. I have no doubt that she's going to take the role of mayor seriously with lots of energy and commitment. And I also assume that she's going to encourage all of the council members to walk in her footsteps with exploration, reading, questions around topics, and getting all that work done. So good luck, Laura, and we have something for you.
Thank you.
We need Laura to open her gift in front of everybody.
Frankly, you're the main event, so we got to get
No,
on to you.
no, I'm not.
Oh. So here you go.
Lovely.
That is absolutely lovely, and thank you for those
Yeah.
kind regards. Remarks, sorry.
So,
Are we ready for the next, Mayor? Are we ready for the next item
yes,
on the
we can
agenda?
do the next item on the agenda. That's yours.
Well, it's really yours, but we've got quite a menu here, so.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I believe we have that we'll be running both as we do the presentation to you, and then also when we have our little break for refreshments, a slideshow that has been prepared by
Good.
Jennifer and Jenny, I believe, are the two. And you will be able to, well, now I wonder if we were on the slideshow the whole time, people on Zoom won't be able to see the remarks of the mayor. So why don't we watch for a few minutes and then we'll continue on. And then during the break, we can run through the whole thing.
We were so young. Oh, good heavens.
The Rex.
Oh, the old microphone. Oh, one of my favorite trips to Jeff City. We won the Creative Community Award, and there's Marilyn's great jacket.
Oh, it's fine over here. It's back here. It's still going. I don't know. Mayor, do you have a count of all the proclamations that you've handed out?
Oh, good heavens. Ah, Lou Davis, how I miss him. What fun we had with Barbary Park statue. You can have my commentary, I guess. That was my prize. Make a Difference Day. That'll go on. Good Lord. This was a Christmas project of gloves and hats. Ah, good. Preston Jackson, what a wonderful man. He is. Oh, Lord. Good Lord. Oh. Ivory Crockett. Yeah, there is proof of cover. Oh. Laura, that'll be your job next. Ah.
So Jerry, I'm going to ask you, you might want to take a few more of those along the way here. I'm going to ask you to move down here into the middle of the room here because our firefighters have a presentation for you next.
Oh, geez. I need 2 Kleenexes.
Yes.
Oh, man, you guys.
If you're doing that, I'm gonna join you in a minute.
I'm not gonna.
Okay, I won't either. There's something in the air.
You think?
Allergies?
Oh my gosh, you guys are all here. Oh, Lord.
Okay, we met about 15 years ago. You showed up at house one looking for me, which of course made me nervous as can be. Somebody said the mayor's looking for you. But when you approached, you had a smile and your flowers. You heard about a recent call we ran where I gave somebody my boots, and you were so taken aback by it, you brought me flowers to simply say thank you. On one hand, I felt such appreciation for the gesture. On the other hand, I wondered, how am I going to explain this to my wife? But all seriousness, I was taken aback by this. I was just doing my job. But that's the type of leader you are for your community. Over the years, it's been a pleasure to work with you, from collecting food for local food pantries and giving Christmas gifts to our elderly residents without families. You go out of your way to do good things for the citizens of Webster Groves. Mayor, you have always shown our fire department kindness and respect. You've always come to check on us after we've run a bad call, after someone got injured, or even after we had a new baby in our family. You have become part of the firehouse family and you will be missed. And on behalf of the Webster Groves firefighters, to say thank you for all you have done for us. It's my honor to present you with this token of our appreciation.
Thank you, guys.
We need to stay up here for a little while.
You want to put it on?
Okay, so you were very kind and had a few words. It's my turn to have a few words for you as we continue in our celebration of your career. When I sat down to think about what I might say, I realized that it is a fool's errand to try and really go through the entire scope of what you've done for the city of Webster Groves. It just would take too long, and some of it's going to be in the proclamation. So I decided to go with just one thing that I think you fundamentally transformed our city, and that is with the focus on the arts. And because of your commitment, because of your creativity and your willingness to put in the work to make us a creative community, we are that now. And I know one of the things that you all love, I know, going to the events. I love going to the events. I love the experiences. But what a lot of us don't think much about, that I know Jerry thinks a lot about, is the economic impact of that. And I know you've studied that. And so when we think about being a creative community, a community of the arts, it's really twofold. It's the experience we have as community members, but it's also the economic impact that you've helped bring to this community. And I'm forever grateful for that. So thank you for that. Yeah. And I also will say, on a personal note, about 4.5 years ago, you and I had lunch when I was beginning to think about running for the council. And I couldn't have asked for a more honest assessment about what I needed to know, what I needed to learn. I couldn't have asked for more encouragement, and I couldn't have asked for really more support in thinking through that decision. And then I became a council member, and in especially that very first year of council, you were always available, and you gave me good advice, and you asked me questions sometimes that made me really think about how I should do this job. And for me, at least, and I know for the rest of the council, because I am speaking for them as well here, the experience of working with you and communicating about issues has done us very well in terms of our ability to do what we are now tasked to do here as a council. And so I am very grateful for that. I am very grateful for the lines of communication that are open, and I look forward to learning more in your retirement, because I'm going to need some more advice as we move forward.
You're always welcome. You know.
Good. All right. Well, thank you. And I'm going to invite Jennifer. There's Jennifer. I'm going to move out of your way because you can be close to the microphone.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Katie asked me to say a few words on behalf of the city clerk's office this evening because, as my dad likes to say, I like to talk, I like to hear myself talk, and I think you all would like to hear me talk. Katie and I both agree it's been an honor and a privilege to work with Jerry. She genuinely cares for this entire city, residents, staff, and the businesses. Most of you know Jerry from meetings and events where she presides as mayor and gives thoughtful remarks. If you only know Mayor Jerry, you might not be quite as well acquainted with the Jerry we know. She is generous with her time and energy and has worked side by side with us on even the most mundane of tasks. In fact, the reception coming up in a little while is probably the first without her magic touch in a long time. We can only hope to remember everything she's taught us. There are too many things to thank you for, Jerry. From allowing me to share your office at the beginning of my time in the clerk's office, to teaching us how to plate hors d'oeuvres and what a chafing dish is. Your patience is unsurpassed. You've always said someday we should write a book. I'm hoping that you, Patrick, and the cats can get a head start on the outline. Thank you for everything, Mayor Welch, from the bottom of our hearts.
Oh. Not make you stand here alone very. It's okay. Tony and Debbie, would you like to come on forward here? Oh, geez. Uh-oh.
Laura, we come down.
Not quite yet. Let them talk for just 1 second. The microphone's over there. so-
Yeah. she's
Well, I
fine.
know
Turn
if you're
one
gonna
down.
say your remarks first, yes.
Okay. All right, well, mine's really short.
Jerry, just wanted to say a few words about Jerry Welch. Jerry, you have been a mentor and a friend to many people in this community. I have enjoyed working with you on council and learning from you how to listen to people, finding the right words to inform people and comfort when necessary. At state meetings, I was always proud to say I was from the city of Webster Groves because everyone knew you and they respected you. We were always treated like the cool kids. Your institutional knowledge of the city was invaluable due to the relationships you fostered, and you were generous in passing along those introductions and all of your insight. It was an education I value and I will continue to use today. Your accomplishments are many, and the city of Webster has become the welcoming city of the arts, fiscally responsible place to live, work, and play, due in large part to your leadership, your compassion, and your attention to our community. You will be missed sitting on the dais. However, knowing your love of Webster, I know we will still see you around helping senior citizens, assisting children with class projects, speaking at Muni League meetings, and enjoying Art and Air Community Days and Jazz Festival. Thank you for all you've done for our community, and we'll see you around.
Jerry, my husband always says that you got me into this, that you suggested that I be on council. And I do want to say that my time on council was one of the most rewarding times in my life. I particularly appreciated your mentoring, your guidance, some of the fun trips we had, even if it was just to Belnor to the Muni League meeting. But I really enjoyed all our travels, whether it be in St. Louis County to state conferences or that fun trip to Nashville. And Webster Groves owes you a great debt, and I owe you a great debt. And I want to thank you for your service.
Debbie and I went to a National League of Cities conference in Nashville. At the same time, they had the the Country Music Awards. And let me tell you, the two of us were not appropriately dressed.
No, we were not. Our shoes were too sensible.
Well, and our clothes were too sensible.
Well, Jerry, we have one more voice of a former council member standing by from Wisconsin, I believe.
Oh my gosh, Ann.
Oh, gosh, darn it. Sorry, Barb, not Barb.
Ian's there, okay. Yep, okay.
And go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. What do I do here? I'm sorry.
Oh, here I am. This was a surprise. I wasn't quite prepared, but here I am. Greetings, all from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. I didn't time my remarks. I know better, but I didn't do it. So I'm going to talk really fast. I'm grateful for the opportunity to celebrate Jerry from afar, but I have really mixed feelings. With Jerry's retirement, the city loses significant institutional memory, devoted leadership, a deep understanding of how Webster Groves works and how municipalities are supposed to work. From involving herself in the leadership of the Missouri Municipal League to the local municipal league, to her relationships built over the years, from decades living and working in this community, I can think of no one who rivals Jerry's knowledge, network, or community dedication. So nearly 30 years of civic involvement is nothing to sneeze at. I think it's safe to say that Jerry has just about seen it all. And I think there's some really good stories from all those years that generally get told over a couple of beers after a council meeting. But nearly 30 years of making her way to City Hall for council meetings, for commission meetings, some boring, some satisfying because of hard-won accomplishment, and some so contentious. It's hard to imagine that anyone would put themselves through that kind of punishment without deep love and devotion to community. Jerry has worked with 4 city managers, been part of 4 transition leadership at City Hall. She has parsed so many city budgets. It's a wonder that she continued to arrive at every budget meeting so thoroughly prepared with a little sticky notes, ready to ask all the tough questions. She knows more about the inside out of Webster Groves than anyone in the community. While Jerry deserves to step back and enjoy the city she has tirelessly promoted, I say again, to me, Jerry Welsh is synonymous with Webster Groves, and I will point out that even their initials are the same. I first got to know Jerry actually as an adversary when I became active in the long ago Kirkham Corridor study. Over time, I got to know her. I began to understand and appreciate her knowledge and her motives. From adversary, Jerry became a mentor when she encouraged me to become more active with the city. And then I had the honor of working with her as a colleague during my time on City Council. I'm proud of the work that we did together, maybe not always agreeing, but always talking through the issues respectfully and bringing differing perspectives. I think of Jerry as ready to tackle a complicated zoning issue, telling us hilarious stories from her school visits, which I hope, Jerry, you wrote some of those things down over the years. Sitting around her dining room table, wrapping Christmas presents for the senior roundtable. I think of her showing up on all those Make a Difference days to thank the volunteers, striving to bring disparate business groups together for the common good, and carefully thinking about unintended consequences of any new ordinance. I think Webster Groves has thrived during Jerry's tenure, and I respect her, I appreciate her, and I salute her service. Thank you, Jerry.
So as you know better than anyone else, this is local government, so there has to be a proclamation. And both Tony and Debbie are going to help with this, and so they're going to get it started.
I was gonna say, you're gonna go. Whereas Mary Jerry Welsh, elected as council member from 1994 to 98, is the longest serving mayor in the 126-year history of Webster Groves, serving as mayor from 1998 to 2022. The list of Jerry's accomplishments as mayor abound and include her desire for award-winning parks, and she was instrumental in the establishment of a Green Space Advisory Commission, Arts Commission, and the Webster Groves Senior Roundtable. She worked diligently to secure private funding for public art, including pieces in the Sculpture Park and the Barbie Park sculpture honoring the history of North Webster. And whereas Jerry attended and participated in a near constant stream of events, including Eagle Scout ceremonies, Make-A-Wish events, and she enthusiastically met with countless groups of elementary school children, always letting them know that spending time with them was the best part of her job. And she meant it. She always took the time to listen to her constituents. Everyone was always welcome to call her at home or even stop her at Schnucks.
Whereas Jerry's first passion was Webster Groves, but she also branched out to serve the local and state levels, including membership and service as president of the Metro Mayors, past president and board member of the Municipal League of Metro St. Louis, past president and board member of the Missouri Municipal League, and co-founder of Missouri Mayors Statewide, always relaying to council the latest legislation and happenings around our region and state. And whereas Jerry has been recognized for her leadership and service as the recipient of the Buzz Westfall Award for Excellence in Local Government, the Distinguished Service Award for Statewide Leadership and Service from the Missouri Municipal League, the Heart of Gold from the Chamber of Commerce, the Outstanding Local Government Achievement Award from East West Gateway, and she was instrumental in helping the city to receive the America in Bloom Heritage Award and the Missouri Creative Community Award. And
whereas, thanks to 28 years of dedicated service for Mayor Welch, with the support of her husband, Patrick, we continue to be a premier place to live, work, raise a family, play in our wonderful city parks, be creative, take a walk, explore, listen to music, and help your neighbors. Now, therefore, I, Laura Arnold, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Webster Groves, on behalf of the City Council, wish to thank and honor Mayor Jerry Welch for her many years of service to our city. Do hereby proclaim Friday, April 22nd, 2022 as Mayor Jerry Welch Day in the City of Webster Groves.
So I'm going to invite council, come on down. Are there any former council members? Come on up. We're going to take a great picture with everybody. Mr. Wiley, you're being paged, Mr. Wiley.
She was like crazy raising her hand until we finally called on her and she said, "Did you come in your limousine?"
We're now to the gift giving portion of our program this evening. This is the first gift is from all of the members of the current city council.
Okay.
You can, okay.
Shall I open these now?
Would you like to open them now?
Do folks want to have time?
Yes, yes. It is breakable. Yes, that is. It will all become clear, I promise.
am enjoying
Okay. Spend time folding paper.
You are absolutely correct. And this helps it stay in the ground.
And this is so appropriate because I had one from the arts fair a few years ago, just disintegrated on me. Oh, this is perfect. It's great. Thank you. Okay, normally I spend time repacking.
You know what? Let me do that for you. Pam's got number 2 on
Here, I'll take care of this, okay? I can have it.
This is from the city.
You are in training, as mayor, you have to do everything. Cleaning up after stuff is really good training. Thank you.
My mother's not.
And she did your portrait. And she did.
Tell them to turn around so the cameras can see.
So Jerry, will you hold it up?
Oh, very cool.
Oh, there you go.
I'm getting out of the way.
Perfect. Oh, that's beautiful.
Marilyn Bradley special.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, my Lord.
Okay, Sarah has one more thing from you from most of the Department of Public Works.
Oh, I wonder. There's kind of a tradition with the Department of Public Works that when you leave the city, they give you something. And you never know quite exactly what they bring. So this will be very cool to see. Oh.
If you want to sit.
I'm going to sit and make just a few remarks here.
Thanks.
Good heavens. We'll reuse these.
This is officially your meeting.
Okay. Wow. Thank you all very, very much. Yes, I do have a few remarks that I want to make this evening. I am blown away tonight to begin with. I am so honored by all of this. And I'm lost for words, which isn't always the case. But tonight I really am lost for words to have so many of you here and to be just so recognized. This has been a really wonderful experience in a good community. Such a good community because we have worked together for good over all these years. And what we've accomplished because we've always worked together. You know, this job as a mayor it's been a constant learning experience, and I think you will all find that. For example, I never dreamed that knowledge about asphalt and concrete would be in my repertoire of useful information. And so you learn a lot in this job, and you also meet a lot of wonderful people. And I have to tell you, that's been my real benefit, is that this is a good community of kind and generous people. You know, I never wanted to be in public office. This was never a goal of mine. And after the first 4 years on council, I tried to run. I wanted out. I never wanted to do this. And I got talked into being mayor. And I've never regretted it because over the years, I've learned to love local government because local government and good government has a tremendous impact on the way we live as a community. You know, more than anything, the decisions that we make up here affect the quality of everybody's life, whether it's playground equipment or ball fields or experienced paramedics who make a difference between life and death for you. This all comes from local government. And we touch people in so many ways, including their wallet and their heart. So for me, local government's been great, but it carries a lot of responsibility with it. And one that I lived with 24 hours a day, every day, I felt responsible for this community. It brought, in addition to responsibility, it brought wonderful opportunities also to make our community better. So that's what local government is. It's responsibility and opportunity. But I have to tell you, after 24 hours a day and 24 years, Laura, it's yours. And boy, do I wish her well. I left today thinking, I'm going to sleep well tonight because I'm not worried about this, everything in the city. But I want to make a last word. I would say a last word about staff and city staff. The city staff here knows how much I appreciate them. And I appreciate their work. And I have always been concerned about the welfare of each and every one of them. And that's because one of the things I've learned over my 24 years is that you can have all the equipment you want. You can have a fancy dancy ambulance and fire truck and beautiful buildings and lots of technology, but none of that makes a world of difference without good, experienced, committed professional staff. And that is what we have had in this community. I'm going to miss all of them, especially Katie Nakazano and Jen Conrad, with whom I have worked for several decades. And these two women are the finest people you will ever find in government. So to all of you, to the staff, my door is always open. My porch is always there. Please know that you're welcome to come sit on my porch. We'll have tea or a bottle of beer or something else. Will be happy to see you. And I want to thank you for your kindness and support over the years. And I want to say this is not goodbye because I live here. This is my town. And I'm just going to see you in another context. So thank you. So we're gonna get through the rest of this real quick, like, and then we get food, okay, or something lovely. All right. Let's start with the approval of minutes of March the 15th. And Ms. Richardson, would you like to call for the approval of those minutes?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to call for the approval of minutes from March 15th, 2020.
Any questions or issues? Let's call for the vote.
Councilmember Arnold?
Yes.
Councilmember Bliss?
Yes.
Councilmember Franklin? Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Alexander? Yes. Councilmember Richardson? Mayor Welch?
Yes, the minutes have been approved. We're going on quickly to unfinished business. Bill 9181, Councilmember Smith, please.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to call for the third and final reading of Bill number 9181 and call for subsequent adoption.
Bill 9181, third reading. An ordinance creating a new chapter 57 tree preservation and landscape requirements through the relocation and amendment of regulations in chapter 10 public ways and places, sections 10.300 through 10.385, and repealing ordinances 8389 and 8719 and matters related thereto.
Are there any issues or questions? If none, call for the vote.
Councilmember Bliss?
Yes.
Councilmember Franklin?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Alexander?
Yes.
Councilmember Richardson?
Yes.
Mayor Welch?
Yes,
Councilmember Arnold?
Yes.
9181 is passed. 9182, Councilmember Bliss.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to call for the third and final reading of Bill number 9182 and its subsequent adoption.
Second.
Bill 9182, third reading. An ordinance amending Chapter 10, Article 4, Tree and Landscape Ordinance Sections 10.300 through 10.355 and matters related thereto.
Any questions or issues? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Councilmember Franklin?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Alexander?
Yes.
Councilmember Richardson?
Yes.
Mayor Welch?
Yes.
Councilmember Arnold?
Yes.
Councilmember Bliss?
Yes.
All right. The next item is the review of votes cast in the municipal election, and it is my job to read that out. For mayor, Laura W. Arnold won the mayor position with 3,560 votes. Kathy Hart received 3,043 votes. For council member, Emily Hickson Shepherd won a council member position with 4,001 votes. Pam Bliss won a council member position with 3,539 votes. David Franklin won a council member position with 3,330 votes. John J. Eppers received 1,649 votes. Don Cole received 2,643 votes. Karen Abeck received 3,182 votes. Proposition W passed, yes, 4,142, no, 2,262 votes. Proposition U passed, yes, 3,608, and no, 2,888. And with that, now we will go to resolution 2022-14. And still Councilmember Arnold.
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to call for the reading of Resolution 2022-14 and its subsequent adoption.
Second.
Resolution 2022-14, a resolution declaring the mayor and 3 council members for 4 four-year terms.
Is there any issue? Then let's call for the vote.
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Alexander?
Yes.
Councilmember Richardson?
Yes.
Mayor Welch?
Yes.
Councilmember Arnold?
Yes.
Councilmember Bliss?
Yes.
Councilmember Franklin?
Yes.
All right, now we come to the exciting part, which is the oath of office that it will be administered to our newly elected mayor and council members by Judge James Whitney. Judge Whitney, could you
Come to the middle.
come to the middle?
We asked the mayor, city attorney, and council members Franklin and us. We just swung over this way.
Otherwise.
I apologize.
Good. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Laura W. Arnold, do solemnly swear
I, Laura W. Arnold, do solemnly swear
that I possess all of the qualifications
that I possess all of the qualifications
required by law
required by law
for the office of mayor,
for the office of mayor,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
and all the laws affecting constitutional charter cities,
and all the laws affecting constitutional charter cities,
including the charter of Webster Grove,
including the charter of Webster Groves,
that I will faithfully perform the duties of my office,
that I will faithfully perform the duties of my office,
and that I will not knowingly receive,
and I will not knowingly receive,
directly or indirectly,
directly or indirectly,
any money or other valuable thing
any money or other valuable thing
for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty
for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty
pertaining to my office,
pertaining to my office,
other than the compensation allowed by law.
other than the compensation allowed by law.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Emily Shepherd.
Wait, I should stay over here, so I'm not. No, I'll be in the picture.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Emily Hickson Shepherd,
I, Emily Hickson Shepherd,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess all of the qualifications
that I possess all of the qualifications
required by law
required by law
for the office of council member,
for the office of council member,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
and all the laws affecting constitutional charter cities,
and all the laws affecting constitutional charter
cities,
cities,
including the charter of Webster Grove,
including the charter of Webster Groves,
that I will faithfully perform the duties of my office,
that I will faithfully perform the duties of my office,
and that I will not knowingly receive,
and that I will not knowingly receive,
directly or indirectly,
directly or indirectly,
any money or other valuable thing
any money or other valuable thing
for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty
for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty
pertaining to my office,
pertaining to my office,
other than the compensation allowed by law.
other than the compensation allowed by law.
Congratulations. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Pam Bliss, do solemnly swear
I, Pam Bliss, do solemnly swear
that I possess all of the qualifications
that I possess all the qualifications
required by law
required by law
for the office of council member,
for the office of council member,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
and all laws affecting constitutional charter cities,
and of all laws affecting constitutional charter cities,
including the charter of Webster Grove,
including the charter of Webster Groves,
that I will faithfully perform the duties of my office,
that I will faithfully perform the duties of my office,
and that I will not knowingly receive,
and that I will not knowingly receive,
directly or indirectly,
directly or indirectly,
any money or other valuable thing
any money or other valuable thing
for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty
for the performance or non-performance of any act of duty,
act or duty pertaining to my office,
pertaining to my office,
other than the compensation allowed by law.
other than the compensation allowed by law.
Congratulations. By the way, I didn't They handed me this. All right, raise your right hand and swear after me. Or repeat it. Don't swear it. I, David Franklin, do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications required by law for the office of council member, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and of the state of Missouri, and all laws affecting constitutional charter cities, including the charter of Webster Grove, that I will faithfully perform the duties of my office, and that I will not knowingly receive, directly or indirectly, any money or other valuable thing for the performance or non-performance of any act or duty pertaining to my office, other than the compensation allowed by law. Congratulations.
All right. I guess this is actually Laura's probably duty to say this, but I am going to say we're taking a recess for reception. We invite you all into the conference room to come and enjoy a little something with us. So, and Laura will come back and run the meeting after the reception. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Can we call this meeting back to order, please? That's right. My first act must be with authority. We will start with remarks of visitors, and I have 3 cards here, and we'll start with Mike Peters.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, I am Mike Peters, and I'm speaking to you tonight as the shop steward of the Webster Groves Fire Department, Local 2665. Respective council members, today the city lost a great asset, a respected fire captain, and a personal mentor of mine. After over 18 years of service, Captain Jason Simpson was fired this morning. He wasn't fired because of anything he did, but because he could not recover from his back injury fast enough. Captain Simpson not only was a leader in this department, but was asked by the city during his time as an employee and as a shop leader to lead city-supported campaigns, such as to bring loggers to pensions to Webster Groves, and then later asked to be put in charge to bring the entire city up to the higher pension benefit. Captain Simpson was asked to lead the proposition to fund the new construction of the firehouse too. He was the architect of the city and the union's first collective bargaining agreement, and he even helped several of you get in office not that long ago. Captain Simpson hurt his back on duty, did everything he could to get back on a truck, only to re-injure it last August. Since then, Captain Simpson has been through physical therapy, not to mention the sleepless nights trying to make the pain go away. Jason worked light duty and attended 4-hour-a-day, 5-day-a-week work hardening sessions, working harder and harder after the city gave him a hard date that he had to heal by. But in the end, he was just trying to get back on a fire truck. Now, after all this, Jason is without a job, still hurt, and has been abandoned by the city. And he's been asked to do so much. What is going on here? Is this Webster Groves? Recently, a fire captain with a similar injury was allowed much more consecutive days to heal from his injury and has since returned to work and been promoted. This was less than 2 years ago. Not Jason, though, I guess. We used to be a city that supplemented pay for our armed forces when they were deployed overseas, but not anymore. This used to be a city that paid out 50% of the sick time to its retirees as they promised, but not anymore. And this used to be a city that stood behind and stuck by their first responders when they get hurt doing their job, but not anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Eric Olaf? Eric, I said it wrong. I know I did. Would you please enlighten me again? Elof, thank you.
Mayor Arnold, council members, my name is Eric Eloff. I'm a resident on Gray Avenue in Webster Grove since 2006. I'm here tonight really for 2 reasons. One, to thank Mayor Laura Arnold for the character she displayed during the campaign. You had a choice to make about whether you were going to respond with fire to the fire that you were getting from Preserve Webster, from Larry, from a whole host of people who question your character. And there were many among us who wondered, when are you going to start fighting fire with fire? You didn't make that choice. You kept your character, and you went high when they went low. And I just want to thank you for doing that. I think that is the character of Webster Groves right there. And I hope that as a council, and I was really pleased with this election. I think you're very thoughtful, committed folks. Congratulations, Emily, in particular, as a newcomer. And I know you'll look at the issues and dissect them and collect input from the public. These are tough issues. 47 million people quit their jobs last year. That's not your fault. There's less revenue coming into the city of Webster Groves. That's not your fault. You made decisions about the budget expecting revenue when you didn't know a pandemic was going to get here. That's not your fault. Now you have really even tougher choices to make. And I would just, I'm so happy that you're behind the bench, all of you, because you're going to have some tough decisions ahead. But I know you'll study the issues and I know you'll make good judgments, even though they won't be easy ones, because there's just tough choices out there. So congratulations, everybody. Thank you for keeping your character.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Buck.
David, do I need to turn on my recorder?
Pardon me?
Do I need to turn on my recorder?
Well, I don't know, maybe. Dave Buck, 124 South Elm. Two things. First, to our new mayor, city council, and all city staff. May you always think creatively, dare greatly, and carry on, my wayward sons and daughters, because there'll be peace when you are done. I wish Jerry was here because I want to say some words off of her. I have my own proclamation for her. Despite her many accomplishments, this is the one that meant the most to me personally. 20 years ago, almost to the day, I stood here during the Mills project and I looked at Jerry and I called her to her face a low down liar. Jerry did not sit quietly. She immediately got up and fired back. She put me in my place and she read me the riot act, and she had every right to do that. I came back to the next meeting 2 weeks later, stood here and publicly apologized to Jerry for what I had done. Neither Jerry and I will ever forget that moment in history, but to her great credit, Jerry forgave me. She never gave up on me. She believed in me, and we became really good friends. And it's interesting that Eric mentioned character, because that, my friends, is what character is all about, and Jerry has it. And I will never forget that moment in time, and I will never forget her and the difference she made in my life. And I wish she was here, because Jerry is a champion of the arts, okay? But on my radio show, she divulged the fact that when she was a kid growing up, it was really music that she liked the best. She sang in the choir and everything else. Didn't paint or anything, but she sang. And so in her honor, I can simply have to sing Webster Groves, Missouri, as Shakespeare would say, trips along softly off the tongue this way. Webster grows Missouri, Webster grows Missouri, Webster grows Missouri. Let me say it once again. Webster grows Missouri, Webster grows Missouri, Webster grows Missouri. It's the town that knew me when. If you'd like to have a logical explanation how I happened on this elegant syncopation, I would say without a moment of hesitation, there is just one place that can light my face, and it's Webster grows Missouri, Webster grows Missouri, not Louisiana, Paris, France, New York, or Rome, but Webster grows Missouri, Webster grows Missouri, Webster grows Missouri, our home, sweet home.
Do we have anyone online who would like to speak in remarks of visitors?
There are no hands raised.
All right. We'll go next to new business. Anyone have any new business? I think there'll be lots to come later. And so we'll need to call for the approval of consent agenda. Emily, I'm not going to put you on the spot right away. You're ready? Okay, go for it then.
Yeah, do I need to turn this on? It's on. Okay. Yes, Mayor, I would like to call for the approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Is there any, we don't discuss the consent agenda. We're just going to vote, right, Katie?
Sure thing.
Great.
Mayor Arnold,
Yes.
Councilmember Bliss,
Yes.
Councilmember Franklin.
Yes.
Councilmember Smith.
Yes.
Councilmember Alexander.
Yes.
Councilmember Richardson.
Yes.
Councilmember Hickson Shepherd.
Yes.
All right, we have no appointments to boards and commissions. One note before we adjourn, on behalf of all of us, Emily, welcome. We're happy to have you. We know that if you will. And as I try and figure this out, colleagues in these meetings, please give me a little grace because we're going to stumble once in a while and I would appreciate that. I think having no further business, we're going to adjourn and go back to the party. So this meeting is adjourned. That's going to be my shortest meeting ever. I'm sure.
Probably so.